everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be doing an unboxing of the summer seasonal surprise box from Erin Condren. Yes, I know a lot of people have gotten these boxes and already know what's inside of them, but for some reason I always get them late, and so that is what we're going to do today. I got this so I could take a look at it and review it. I've gotten several seasonal surprise boxes from Erin Condren before, both as PR and as purchased with my own money. This one is purchased with my own money, but as I mentioned, PR, full disclosure, I'm an Erin Condren affiliate. I have affiliate links in the description. Using them won't cost you anything extra, but it does help me out. So if you want to support, you can do that. You can also give this stream a thumbs up, or replay, give the video a thumbs up if you're on the replay crew. Woo-woo! And you can also check out my planner sticker shop if you are looking for some cool new stickers for your planner and would like to support me as well. All of those links, again, are in the description box down below. I also have Opal, who of course always wants attention right as I start streaming. So we'll see how long that lasts with Opal just being a little bit of a crazy cat. I mean, that's part of her charm. So if you are here live, as always, I do want to give a little shout out to the people that are here at the beginning of the live. I see Lisa there in the chat. Thank you for saying my hair looks nice today. This is what happens when I don't put any product in it and just blow dry it. So yeah, I was actually having a conversation in the comments with somebody about my hair. Earlier today, we were talking about like wavy curly hair, and I was like, yeah, if I don't do anything to it, my hair basically just looks straight. I think this is second to last spring. They're like these springs, in case you guys are new here and don't know about the cat springs. They always get mangled after a while. So, she'll probably also make a cameo during the whole unboxing because that's what cats do. Sarah, thank you for being here live. You're saying you didn't bite, but you might get the things you want off of 𝗪𝘁𝗧. That is an awesome idea. I have not thought about selling the things I don't want in here on 𝗪𝘁𝗧. I think I've mentioned it in passing a couple of times, but part of the deal when you get PR from Erin Condren is you can't sell it, which makes sense. They're giving it to you for review, for promotional purposes. They don't necessarily want you to make money off of it. But since I bought this one with my own money, I can sell anything I don't want. But I'll probably offer it to my mom and my sister first, because that's what I usually do. So, oh, and we have a Coco. We have 𝗬𝗓𝗏. Okay, let me go ahead and switch here real fast, because you might be able to see a little bit of the boo. Hey, say hi to YouTube. Woo woo. Hey, Yvonne, thanks for being here. As I said, right as I go live, the cats are like, ooh, she's making noise, she's talking to people. We want attention because that's what cats do. Yay! And for anybody who is interested, the kittens are doing well. Apart from them being little hellions, there are no updates. Let me know at the end of the stream if you want to see them and I can grab the kittens. But yeah, apart from being a little bit bigger than they were on Monday, there's nothing really new to report with them. So yeah. So yay! Caramel Cookie, thank you for being here. Yeah, I did start a couple of minutes late today. Sorry about that, guys. I was crazy busy today. I got 27 orders out. And then my mom needed some technical support, so I was taking Kiki, her dog, with me in the car. I like to bring her out when I do errands. And then my mom flagged me down. She's like, hey, can you help me? And I'm like, I have 5 minutes. And so I got home and I was basically just rushing to try to get everything together so I could go live for you guys. But in case you're wondering, I do live streams on Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, and I have just added on most Saturdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. The reason why I'm saying most Saturdays is because I want to give myself an out in case I'm traveling or just need a weekend off. Usually I end up taking really weird days off because I work from home and I have my own business, but I do want to give myself that ability where I'm not like, hey, I know I promised a video or stream every Saturday, but I'm not doing it this week. Like, I don't want there to be quite as much pressure on Saturday, if that makes sense. Oh no, Sarah, I'm so sorry that your cat died. That's so sad. suspected cancer. They live with your mom. Oh, I'm glad that you liked seeing my babies. I hope that, like, when I hear about someone's cat dying, I'm always like, oh, I hope it doesn't make you too sad to see my kitties. I want to show you more of Coco than just, like, the side of her back, but I know from experience, every time I pick her up like this, she's like, nope. Come on, say hi. No? She's like, no, she's camera shy, apparently. All right, let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. Again, this is the summer seasonal surprise box. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I know I've mentioned this a million times, but I'm gonna mention it again. I am typically not a huge fan of the summer boxes. I'm very much more of a fall, winter, spring kind of gal. Summer tends to be my least favorite. I did take a peek at this one, and I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know. Oh, Sarah, the baby was 8. His twin seems to not be mourning. That's good, at least, that she's not super sad. I've heard that that's a thing, especially when cats are bonded. So let's go ahead and open it. First, in this box, we have a card, which I'm actually going to go over at the end because it goes over everything that's inside it and what is exclusive and what is sneak peek. Also, isn't that gorgeous? I also recently found out that these boxes are supposed to be reversible. I never reverse mine, but I actually should do that. And then let's go ahead and open this here so you can get a peek, and then I will pull the box off camera and we'll go through each item one by one. So that's what we have in the box. I'm most excited to take a look at this, so we're gonna pull that out, pull the box off to the side, zoom in, and let's go ahead and take a look at this adorable little rose gold manicure set. Now, I know the other day in the comments, a couple of you guys were chatting about how there was like a certain color that they did have a lot of in this box, and I'm wondering if it was rose gold. I know I've mentioned I love rose gold, but I know it's not the thing for a lot of people. Here, let me move my camera a little bit. A little better, maybe, so my face can actually be in frame. So yeah, I'm very excited to take a look at this manicure set. I'm gonna move my camera over a little bit more, but my ring light's in the way. Maybe that's a little better. Okay, there. Now my face will not be completely out of frame when I put my head down. I'm gonna move the box a little bit over there on my desk because I want my fan. Sorry if there's a little bit of a buzz in the background. I've decided recently that I just don't care. So, little rose gold manicure set, very adorable. The cover is kind of squishy. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it was a little open. I probably opened it. But yeah, it has a little bit of a squishy cover. It has the Erin Condren mid-century circles. I won't say it's my favorite design, but it's also not my least favorite design. Now, I find it really interesting that I'm like, ooh, manicure set. I used to be obsessed with doing my nails. Not so much anymore. But I'm still super excited about this. So let's go ahead and open it. Oh, it's kind of like upside down, maybe? Nope, this is right side up. Okay. So, oh, this is adorable. So we have these little rose gold nail scissors, which are my favorite. Nail scissors, not these specific ones. Using them a little bit, they are a little bit stiffer than I typically like. That's probably partially at least a personal preference thing. They feel a little thinner, I guess, than a lot of them do, like not quite as sturdy, but if I try to bend them, I don't feel like they're really going to bend out of shape super easily, so I don't necessarily want to hold that against them if it's not going to actually cause an issue. Coco, please stop kneading my couch. You have 2 scratching posts. Thank you. And then also, I'm not sure if you can see very well, but the sides here are kind of sharp. Not sharp, but like they're cornered instead of round. Here, I actually do keep a pair of nail scissors in my desk because I'm very picky about like hangnails and things like that. I have cuticle clippers, all sorts of things. But anyway, I can show you. So if you can see, this one's rounded for the most part. so it's going to be a lot more comfortable than something like this. Luckily, you probably won't be using nail scissors very long, so hopefully it won't cause any issues. And as I said, these are just gorgeous. Hey, that homeschool life, thanks for dropping in. I hope you are having a good day. Let me go ahead and put those back in there. So yeah, that is the nail scissors. I feel like they might be loosening up a little bit as I use them. This might be the kind of thing where in time they'll loosen up and they won't be super stiff. So yay for that. Next we have a little set of nail clippers, and I know this is what most people use to cut their nails. I am one of the people that does not. I am very much a nail scissors kind of gal. These do feel pretty sturdy. Again, I don't tend to use nail clippers very often, so I can't necessarily comment as to how they feel compared to others, but just on feeling them without actually testing them, I don't see anything wrong with them. I do like this little textured bit. It looks very cute. Again, I love rose gold, so I love that, and I like that they have a little pouch in here to hold them. Now this, I'm thinking, is not just for protection. It's supposed to be like a lint-free nail remover wipe or something like that, but it doesn't come with nail polish remover, so I don't know. But I'll still keep it in there. On the other side, we have a cuticle pusher, which is just so stinking adorable. That is one nail thing I do not keep at my desk at all times. And I like that it has an end that is a little bit more pointy as well as less pointy. Sometimes you need something like this to kind of get in a corner or get under something. So very excited about that. Tweezers. I actually don't end up using tweezers quite as much on my nails as on my brows, which is interesting to say because I actually don't do my brows very often these days either, but whatever. Well, I should say pluck my brows. I fill in my brows all the time. But I mean, they feel good. They feel sturdy. Nothing too much to say. I mean, with tweezers, I mean, I guess I could, this might be TMI, or maybe not TMI. I was gonna say I tend to get like dark hairs right here. I used to have a birthmark here and it was removed, and occasionally I have to pluck the dark hairs, but I don't think I have any right now. Let's just go with like a random hand hair or something. Because with tweezers, the big thing is, does it grip well enough to pull a hair out? And I feel like if it does that, then it will work for most purposes. And it did pull the hair out. I felt the little pinch. It came out, all that good stuff. So I will go ahead and put these back in here. I think this would be an awesome little travel kit because, again, I am very much the person that if I have a hangnail or if I break a nail, it will drive me nuts. Nuts. Lastly, we have a little file, and I'm thinking this is double duty. We'll probably see in the card. Obviously, we do have a file here, and then there's a little pointy thing at the edge, which I'm assuming is meant to get the dirt from under your fingernails, which I obviously have some of. Maybe I shouldn't have done that on camera, but whatever. That works pretty well. Usually I end up using the point of the scissors, but I kind of like this a little better because then you don't have to worry about like using the wrong end of the scissors because it's sharp. I don't know. If you've ever tried removing dirt from under your nails with scissors, you probably know what I'm talking about. So yeah, very adorable. I absolutely love this. And very excited. Yeah, I think, does this need to go in the other way? I feel like it was the other way, but to close, there we go, I think. So that is the little nail kit. Super excited. This will probably either end up living in my purse, or since I don't go out a lot, this might replace what I currently have in my desk. Since I'm here anyway and I'm at my desk, let me just show you the nail stuff I keep in my desk. The container is kind of dirty. Sorry about that. So I just have a little acrylic container. So I have a buffer block that I mostly use as a nail file, but it's just what I have. I have nail scissors. I have cuticle nippers. I love these things, by the way. If you don't have a pair of cuticle nippers, get them. They're amazing. Just like when you have that like tiny little bit of hangnail or skin or something, or like drives you nuts, that can just get it. If I try to get it any other way, I always end up getting an infection. It hurts. And then I have tweezers. and I don't really end up using the tweezers very often. It's normally the cuticle nippers and these and the buffer. So anyway, as I'm talking about all of that, I just thought that I would, show you, since again, it's right here. Yes, I know it's kind of weird to keep that stuff in my desk, but as I said, it will drive me nuts. And so it's better to just keep it at hand so I can, deal with whatever hangnail or whatever it is that's bugging me and then get on with my life. Yvonne's saying you're not a rose gold fan, but did find this beautiful. Not sure if I would trust the quality to use it daily, but to have on hand or keep in my car. I mean, I'll get back to you. I'm not sure. I know at some point I will test it compared to my other stuff, and I use those often enough that I would be able to tell you, like, oh, this is good compared to that. I just cut my nails. Not that they're great, but there's not too much I could cut off. I might be able to cut off a little bit of that one to test the scissors. I mean, I kind of tested the tweezers. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're sharp. They're, as I said earlier, I don't know if you missed it. They are stiff, but they're sharp and they cut well. I've definitely run into scissors that don't cut well. These are not those. Lisa, I put mine in the van since I already have a manicure kit in my purse. Good idea. Next, we are looking at this, which I should probably zoom out for. Well, let's do that. Okay, so this is a bag. It's a Palm Fawns reusable shopping bag. And so it's a collapsible tote with pocket for extra storage. They show you how to fold it up. I have a bunch of reusable shopping bags that I keep in my purse. It's the kind that folds up tiny and then has a little elastic band that goes around it. I actually have one from Erin Condren. That was the year that, the Woven Wonder year. And then I have a bunch of others from Daiso, I think, is where I got the other ones from. So this has snaps to keep together. And then it just unfolds like this, it looks like. And then it has the Palm Fawns on it. I like this. For me, this isn't quite as functional as the other ones that I use, just because it doesn't fold up quite as small. But this would be a good one for me to just like keep in my car, not necessarily in my purse, because it's big enough that it won't get lost in my car like a thing that folds up this tiny would. As many people with ADHD, or like many other people with ADHD, my car is not a clean, well, sometimes it's clean. It's not a tidy space. I mean, currently it's not clean or tidy, but sometimes it's clean and not tidy. Currently it just happens to be not clean or tidy. Lisa's van is getting Erin Condren with your Plenty Pack manicure kit. Manicure kit. Panicure kit? Oh my god, that sounds terrifying. And other things. You need more accessories for my vehicle. Okay, so in one seasonal surprise box, they had a sunglass case a few years ago. Use it for a car trash bag. I honestly end up usually using just like a plastic grocery bag, because then I could just take the whole thing and put it in the trash. But that's a good idea. I'll think about that. So anyway, I keep that in my car with like whatever sunglasses I happen to be using. I do need to get a new pair because mine are breaking. They were cheap. And then I don't think it's the one in my car right now, but a while ago I ended up getting an Erin Condren umbrella, and I forget if that was part of a seasonal surprise box or if that was on the website. But I usually keep an umbrella in my car, and so sometimes the Erin Condren umbrella ends up being the one in the car. So anyway, that is that. Next, I'm like literally just reaching over and grabbing something. We have some stickers. Oh, wrong direction. There we go. So these are stickers with gold foil, and it looks like primarily I always want to call these like window stickers because it has, it's kind of, or maybe door stickers. I don't have any windows or doors that are that shape, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. And then it looks like we have some half circle stickers as well, and a couple of quote stickers and a couple of little I mean, they're not the exact dimensions that I would call for like a half box or a quarter box, but you know, kind of in that vicinity. Very cute. I think this is only one sheet. Let me go ahead and take a look. I do want to keep this in good condition because I love the look of Erin Condren stickers. I do not personally end up using them and utilizing them. So these will probably be going to someone else. I don't know who it is, and if my mom or sister don't want them, then I will take the advice and probably try to sell them. So yes, it is just one sticker sheet. These are matte stickers with the foil, and it's a decent thickness. Yes, I know I just said I wasn't going to use them, but you know how you can like pull up a corner and then put it back down and it basically looks unused? Yeah, I'm doing that. So yeah, they seem nice quality. Very happy with those. Lisa just cleaned your van. Yeah. That's gonna get gross. Maybe you could put it in the washer. Oh yeah, having it for a trash bag. I mean, you probably can put them in the washer. I'm very bad about washing stuff, so hence the, you know, reuse the Target bag. Well, I mean, it's a Target bag right now. It's different things, different times. Threw it in your backpack, thought it would be handy to just have around. Yeah, I think it kind of depends on like what you already have and where is applicable. So, ooh, another sheet of stickers. So on this one, we have a bunch of different circles. Some you can write on, some of them you can't. We have a few different box stickers. These look like they're too wide for the vertical, but I'm guessing they're gonna fit in the compact vertical pretty darn well. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna end up keeping these, so I don't necessarily want to use them, but we can at least size them to see. Yeah, that would work pretty nicely, especially like right here in the compact vertical. So that is really nice that they're starting to do more stickers specifically for these sizes of the compact vertical. And then if you couldn't tell, I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera sometimes, but the foil on this one is rose gold. So different colors of foil on each sheet of stickers that we have so far. Let me see. Okay, I think that's the last sheet of stickers. I'm actually going to take stuff out of here and just have it in front of me so I'm not completely reaching over on the box. So next is actually, it looks like little metallic nail art stickers, which is adorable. It looks like we have some butterflies, some Erin Condren asterisks, and some little banana palm leaves, whatever you want to call them. So let's see, peel and stick and glaze the top with top coat for a fast, stylish nail art. Very, very cute. I will probably end up keeping these, but I have such a big collection of nail art stuff that it probably will never get used. But that is what the sheet looks like. It looks like the stickers themselves are on a backing, and then there is a cellophane topper to kind of protect them. And then I don't know if you can see the package, but there's plastic here as well. So they actually are kept very nicely in here. Very, very cute. Ooh, things are going on in the chat. Sarah's saying, I never know how to use the circle, semicircle stickers, use horizontal. Yeah, I feel like the circle and semicircle stickers might look kind of nice on the monthly pages, which I don't typically end up using. So, you know, who knows. Next, we have this adorable little notepad. Let me zoom in a little bit. And it looks like this notepad has a little bit of a self-care focus. This is adorable, but I think this is going to end up going to my mom because she was literally saying last week that she would like something very similar to this, where she had like several habits where she could kind of check off instead of having like the typical habit trackers where you just write one habit. So it looks like you can write this week's joy, you can write your habits, and then you can, you know, either take notes or write other self-care in there. This is a sticky notepad and not just a notepad. It says sticky notepad, so I probably should have figured that out. But Anyway, this is very, very adorable. As with most of the Erin Condren notepads, the paper, it's not as thick as the planner paper, but it does not feel like super cheap or anything like that. It feels like nice paper. That is what the little card on the back looks like. And then, you know, not that you need the bottom, but there you go. And it looks like this has 20 adhesive sheets. It's 5 3/4, or 5 1/4 by 3.85 inches. I don't know what the fraction of that is. That's the other side of that. Okay. I know why they put holes in these things. It's so air doesn't get trapped. But from a reusability standpoint, I like when there are not holes in these little bag packaging things, because when there are, then I don't tend to reuse them. Not that I always tend to reuse them anyway, but when I do keep them and reuse them, I don't find the holes nearly as functional. Hey Ackman, hey Lynn, I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday. Let's go ahead and just put that back together. Oh, whatever, I'll do it so it's not upside down later. Next, we have these adorable little pens, Rainbow Gel Pen Duo. I'm thinking this is like the pens I used like back in the day where it like changes color, and I shouldn't have put the notepad away, and because I'm too lazy to get it out, I'm just gonna grab this, which actually is Erin Condren, it's layers, to test on. Oh, for a minute I was thinking that these were magnetic, and then I realized there was a little plastic thing that they were clipped to. Oh my god. Was at work 102 at work when I left at 3 p.m. 102 degrees. Oh my goodness. It's like, I don't know, 85-ish degrees, and has some humidity, and I'm already melting. So I'm a wuss. I'm aware of this. Okay, so I think this is one of the pens that has a little tip thingy that you have to take off. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is changing. It's getting bluer as we go. Blue's getting lighter. Okay. Something like that might be kind of cool as it changes. It's not changing fast enough. Okay, well, you get the idea. This one's basically cool toned. I do like how they have nice little clips here, and that is actually like a little spring, so this isn't going to be one of the ones that's just plastic that's going to snap off. The pens make you smile, Yvonne? Yes. Let's see. Sarah, I'm with you about the heat. Yes. Oh my goodness. Except that I'm a wuss when it comes to heat because I grew up in Portland. Okay. I know I joke about this, but it's like legit true. People start complaining when it goes above like 70, 75 here because we're not used to it. We also cannot drive in the snow. Again, I'm included in that. I still find it hilarious. So let's go ahead and take a look at this pen. So we have a nice neon orange. I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge neon gal, so I definitely like the colors of the other one more. This one's kind of like an orange and pink, it looks like. So, orange, pink, yellow, I guess. So it's subtle. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but the orange does look a little lighter down here than it does up there. Ooh. Ackman had pens like that for a little while now. Look up Zebra. Oh my goodness, I should be able to say that. Sarasa marble pens. Ooh, yeah, marble, that makes sense. Almost a clone of those. I would not be surprised if, I mean, these, I don't know if off the top of my head if these are exclusive. We'll see in a minute when we look at the card at the end. But there have been some like private label things that Erin Condren has either had period or have made it into the seasonal surprise boxes, so I wouldn't be surprised if these are private labeled. Let's see. You can get a 5-pack of different colors unless for Erin Condren is charging for those too. Oh, okay, so I guess they are going to be available on the site. Let me zoom out a little bit for this. Balance. Something you find is not something you find, it's something you create. This is a landscape productivity journal. Portable functional journal with a new landscape orientation. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. By the way, almost anything on Erin Condren is going to be more expensive than anywhere else. That is just how Erin Condren works. Okay. So, here is the inner cover. The other side is a very subtle gradient. And it looks like, I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera. Maybe if I zoom in, you'll be able to see it better. It is faint, but every other line, they have a little to-do or a little bubble that you could write to-dos in. I actually do like the idea of making it a little subtle, because if you did want to write over it, it wouldn't really get in the way all that much. But yeah, it looks like this is that like productivity layout that we see in a lot of places where you have, it's usually like 3/4 of the page is lined and then 1/4 is, you know, for the important stuff, the to-dos, all that good stuff. And so it looks like once we get into the actual pages, this side is just lined. So the left is just lined, and then the right has the to-dos there. So that actually gives you a really nice amount of writing space for each one. I've personally never mastered the use of these sorts of productivity pages, so I'm not the best person to say whether having it being horizontal instead of vertical is a great thing. I would love to hear what you guys say in the chat. You're guessing I already got past the dollar store item. Are you, I mean, are you talking about this? Are you talking about this? Like what, or the nail stickers? I could see those at the dollar store. It's this, and then the planner covers are next. So whatever you're referring to, yes, we've gotten past it, because I'm pretty sure you would not refer the covers to the dollar store item. But yeah. And it looks like the header, oh, that's just a little mark. The header changes on each page. Very Erin Condren. I will say I have not seen an asterisk in the pages yet. I forget if there was one on the cover. There was an asterisk on the cover, but they're not plastered all over the inside. Oh, the nail stickers. Yeah, we've already gotten past those. Those are cute. I will say I've also seen like metallic nail stickers and like that actually at like Sally's and whatnot. So I'm not sure if I would go so far as to call it a dollar store item, but yeah, we've gotten past it. So yeah, that is, oh, oops. I need to just like do an outline on my desk for what is in frame, except that I keep zooming in and out. So that would be hard for me to keep track of. But yeah, there is that. Very cute. All right, catching up on the chat as always. Okay, so we're chatting about where everybody lives. I often wish I lived on the East Coast. Okay, either on the East Coast, like more in the north, that way I was in vicinity of events in New York, or in Southern California. Basically New York or LA area. Like when I say LA area, I mean like LA, Orange, like, anyway. Just so I could attend like events and do stuff and be in places. Like Portland has a lot of stuff going on in some ways, but not in others. So there is that. And lastly, we have the planner covers. So these do match the box. Let me take them out. The box didn't have any foil, but these do. So that is one thing these have over the box. The box also can't be put on the cover of your planner. So yeah, these are very pretty. I don't think I will personally end up using these because, again, summer patterns just do not end up being my thing. But keeping that in mind, I personally find that the metallic makes it appeal to me a lot more than the box itself. Don't get me wrong, the box is beautiful. Again, it's not really my thing because I am not hugely into having tropical stuff around me. It's so funny though, because I love designing tropical and like summer related sticker kits, but as far as what I actually use, it does not tend to be that sort of thing. You'll give them a credit for keeping a color scheme in this box. I think they've done that sometimes in the past, but sometimes it's more than others if I remember, but it's been at least a year or two since I've gotten a seasonal surprise box. I am really excited for the fall one. Watch me like end up hating the fall one, but typically fall and winter end up being my faves. So yeah, these are pretty. And then like all the other interchangeable covers, this cover is going to have lines on it, and this one is going to be blank on the inside. There you have your back. The seasonal surprise box covers don't come customized, and the few that I've gotten, I don't think I've even had any words on them. So that is just typically what happens with the seasonal surprise box covers. They're also laminated, of course, so the idea is you can use wet erase markers here. This also is a really good place to put sticky notes that you want to have quick access to. So that is a great thing for these covers. Again, not my favorite, and I knew that going into it, but also not the worst. So, Atman saying not into the purple or rose gold blue in this box. And the last one, still got them, but not my favorites. Yeah, I mean, everybody has colors they're not a fan of. For me, I mean, I like rose gold, I like blue. I don't tend to be a fan of some shades of green or pretty much any yellow, and I'm also quite picky about oranges, which is usually the types of colors that come with the summer stuff. So apart from not liking the patterns personally, like the tropical stuff, the colors that tend to come in the summer stuff don't tend to be my favorite. For instance, like with greens, like I like these greens, but like the yellow greens I'm not a huge fan of. It's a weird personal thing. I know my least favorite seasonal surprise box was a summer one, and like everything and it was yellow. And I'm like, I'm never gonna use this. I don't think there is like anything yellow in my place besides maybe a pen that I intentionally put here. So, anyway, there's that. And then last but not least, I said we would end with the card, zoom in, because this is going to be a little description of everything, and we'll go over what is going to be on the Erin Condren website versus what is exclusive to the box. Oh, by the way, I checked right before doing this. I know we were talking a few days ago or last week or maybe both that the box was still available on the website, but as of like 2 minutes before this stream started, it was sold out. So obviously it is not so unpopular that it is available still now, but it was a few days ago. Yeah, anyway, so here is the card, what it looks like in it. Summer 2022. Enjoy the summer of self-care with this mood-boosting surprise box. This colorful collection designed to help you bask in positivity as you refresh your goals, health, and happiness. From the Landscape Journal to help reduce stress and increase productivity to stylish self-care tools and accessories designed to bring you joy and help you look and feel your best. Here are a few of our favorites. Color Blend Landscape Productivity Journal. Track your goals. Oh, she wasn't on camera, but you can probably kind of see her tail a little bit. Track your goals and take some time to journal this summer with a functional journal in a new landscape orientation. I'm not sure if I really like the landscape orientation. In some ways, I can see how it would be nicer to be able to write longer, but just having it wider, I don't know. We'll see. Rose gold masonry circles, manicure set, whether you're at home, traveling, poolside. Pamper yourself with this designer manicure set. metallic nail art stickers, delight in little things that bring you joy and fun. I will say, I mean, I've mentioned that I used to be huge into nail stuff. Like when I say huge into nail stuff, I mean like doing my own acrylics. Like I always had to have my nails done, and yeah, it was big. Sarah, okay, you bring up an awesome point. As a lefty, you love the landscape. Okay. I'm not sure if you could tell specifically, but I am right-handed. But that is a very good point in that the world is very much a right-handed world, and there are things that I wouldn't think of being useful for someone with left hands, or who is left-handed, because, I mean, it comes down to me being not ableist, but like right-handed-ist, I guess. But yeah, it is, in a lot of ways, it's an allegory for disability, or even people who are neurodiverse, like have ADHD, or are on the autism spectrum, or things like that. People that don't have to deal with that might not ever think of it as being an issue, but something small like that, or a design change that I just think, oh, that's kind of fun. Maybe it's not my thing, but like, okay, you're doing something different, actually could make a huge difference for somebody else. So thank you for pointing that out, Sarah, because I was actually thinking earlier today that there is a lot that goes into universal design that people wouldn't necessarily think about. And for anybody who isn't familiar with universal design, it's essentially the concept that things are designed to be universally usable across a lot of different people who have a lot of different abilities or different constraints and things like that. So I know usually we think of things that are accessible to people who are in the blind or the deaf community, or are even ADHD friendly, or friendly to people that maybe have some mobility issues or things like that. But something that is very persistent in our society that we don't necessarily think about is being left-handed. And again, I don't have that experience, but I know like even something as simple as a set of scissors like are not designed for somebody who is left-handed. So, you know, small things like that, I know for me can even make a huge difference as somebody with ADHD. And so, you know, I can kind of imagine some of those things and how it might impact you. You're mentioning that that's why you use the horizontal besides the lines and writing big. Obviously, everybody writes different sizes. I tend to go on the small size of writing. People are starting arguments on Twitter about how to correctly use alt text. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. So anyway, the way it came up is we had this like really small, well, my mom had this really small, I think it was like a micro SD card or something like that, you know, the really tiny ones. And it wasn't, the device it goes in was not working, so we pulled the SD card out to see if it was something on the SD card. And we, you know, she has a Mac, I have a Mac too. Everybody in the family basically has a Mac these days. And so we had to use a little dongle to plug it into your computer so we could look at it. And the way it plugged in, you had to like slot it in and then push it, and it had like a little spring, I guess, that kind of kept it in. And it was slightly annoying for me, but I kind of knew what to expect. But she pointed out that something like that is going to be significantly easier for somebody with smaller fingers than with bigger fingers. And so there definitely is, like, in this design and designing things, like especially electronics, wanting to make everything so small and compact and usable in that aspect of things. But you also have all of the maybe unintentional consequences that come with that. Like, as smartphones got smaller and thinner, the screens got significantly, you know, smaller. And so then they started getting bigger again, or at least having the options to get bigger and things like that. And so, I mean, there are some things that you might not think are a big deal that are really important to other people. Another big example of that, and this is one that used to bug me a lot. It still kind of does, but now that I know why it is the way it is a little bit more, I mean, anyway, let me stop qualifying it. So, you know, when you are crossing the street and you have to like press the button for the crosswalk or whatever, Well, at least outside the city you typically do. In some cities you don't. But anyway, you have to press the button, and then you have the walk sign, right? So for me, as somebody who can get very bothered by extraneous sounds, it kind of bugs me when they make sounds like walk sign is on, or they make the little click thing to like say like, oh, it's, you know, it's on and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I was hanging out with one of my best friends from college. She actually wasn't at the school at that time, but she'd come to visit. And she is legally blind, that I realized this might bug me, but for somebody else who either is blind or is visually impaired, that could make a huge difference in them knowing when to cross the street. And that could be essential. Especially for somebody who is using a guide dog. I don't know if you guys have watched Molly Burke on YouTube, but if you don't, do it. She is amazing. She's blind, and she does a lot of videos showing what it is like to be blind and have a guide dog, and I've learned so much from her. And one of the things she talks about is that when people that are blind are crossing the street, I mean, they're relying on like their ears and everything, but especially in areas where you have a lot of cars, they can't always tell if it's safe. And so like guide dogs guide dogs are trained to use obedient disobedience, so that if a guide dog handler tells them to cross the street and it's unsafe, the guide dog knows and is trained to not obey that command. And that was something I hadn't even thought of. So, I mean, for someone who's using a guide dog who doesn't have other ways, or even someone who doesn't have a guide dog and is using a cane, like having that ability to hear those things, even though it's like annoying to me, is vital for them. And putting it in that context, like how much of a difference it makes to them, I'm like, okay, I can deal with a little bit of annoyance. So anyway, I forget where that whole thing, oh, it came from the scissors. It came from the whole left-handed scissors and the universal design thing. And then, I mean, a lot of universal design also can end up benefiting other people. Sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, that's the concept of universal design, is you know, design with as many people and levels of abilities in different areas in mind. Also, I will mention when I'm talking about sight and whatnot, I know that you guys always or almost always see me wearing glasses. I actually don't need them to see. I wear them for eye strain and headaches. So, you know, I just wanted to mention that because I know some people who wear glasses really cannot see without them, and I just wanted to make it clear that I am not one of those people. That is not my experience. I mostly just wear these when I'm in front of the computer or when I'm playing video games on my TV. Usually don't even bother wearing them when I'm watching TV. So just from that ability point of view. But as we've talked about many a time, I do have ADHD, so there are things that, you know, you might take for granted as something that just is something that, you know, something that you do that for me is really difficult. Like, for instance, it was in the last couple of years that I finally managed to get to the point where I was not always forgetting to brush my teeth. And I know that sounds stupid as somebody in their 30s, but it was not even a matter of like, I don't want to brush my teeth. Sometimes it was, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it was like forgetting to brush my teeth. And, you know, something like that I've been doing as a kid, you know, anyway, so we got really off topic, and let's go ahead and get back to this lovely little card going through everything. So, box contents, Color Blends Landscape Productivity Journal. So that is exclusive to the box. They're saying it has a $12 value. Now, after Sarah saying that this is really handy for people who are left-handed, that's a shame that it is exclusive to the box. Maybe they'll have other landscape stuff in the Erin Condren shop for those of you, because now that you've pointed that out, I can see that just because it's not my cup of tea, it can be really, really useful for other people. We got off topic like that's anything new here. Very good point. very good point. I am terrible at staying on topic, and that I like to think is part of my charm. Probably at least part of what makes me entertaining, because I'm a little bit all over the place, and that makes for good entertainment. I don't know. Let's see. Next, 𝗲𝗠𝗏's reusable shopping bag. That would be this. So this, again, is exclusive. They're saying it's a value of $14. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I would call this a $14 value, even for Erin Condren. I'd probably say more like a $6 or an $8 value. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad bag. I'm just saying they might be overvaluing it a little bit, in my personal opinion. So, an EC exclusive can just mean that they're not coming out with that exact color, but with another later. That is a very good point. The box exclusive just means they're not coming out with this exact thing in the shop. It could be something similar. Excellent, excellent point. We have the 7x9 𝗲𝗠𝗏's interchangeable cover. Obviously, we just looked at that, but I'm going to pull everything over as we go. So that is this. I will mention, though, now that a lot of people are not doing the 7x9 and are doing the A5, it's kind of interesting how they're still doing the 7x9 covers. I'd be interested from people who have gotten the seasonal surprise boxes over the past year to know if they have done A5 covers or if it is just the 7x9, because I could see there being people who don't really use this size anymore, whereas previously, before they had the A5, this was the standard size, and the oddball out was the teacher planner. So yeah, that is kind of interesting. Also, I seriously do think that Erin Condren needs to offer some sort of binder or something like that to keep your extra covers. I know that you can just buy an extra spiral, and someone even told me of one that you can get on Etsy, and I'm blanking on the shop it is, but it fits these, and you can just get like a spiral and put all of your extra covers on it. And I thought that was so cool, because then like you could, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, like a collectible card binder, except for your interchangeable covers. I thought that was awesome. They've done A5 spiral journals, like in the surprise boxes. I'm talking about specifically the covers. Lisa, your son says, hi. Hi, James. I hope you're having a very good day / evening / afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. All right, let's move on. Sticker sheet duo. Okay, that's interesting. They're saying the 𝗲𝗠𝗏 sticker sheets, they're calling it a duo. Okay. This might be me being picky. I also sell stickers on Etsy, so want to qualify my opinion. To me, if you have individual sticker sheets packaged like so, it's not a duo. To me, this is individual sticker sheets, and you decided to include two. Now, let me show you how I would package them if it was a duo. Again, this is me being picky, but I'm going to show you anyway, because why not? It's my channel. Ooh, you have the covers on a coil, like 8 years of covers. How is that? Is that working out for you? It's like one of those things that I have just not quite done yet. So this is how I would package the stickers as a duo. One on this side, one on that side, using half of the cellophane bags. Fits perfectly well. It is very obvious that this is a duo, and it makes the package that more exciting because it's double-sided. That is my personal opinion. They always call the sticker sheets a duo even though they package them separately. I'm still going to be picky about this because, again, like, I sell stickers, and so I know, like, what goes into it. It's probably easier for them to package. They have a machine or something that makes it easier for them to package one per, and that's why they do it this way. I still think it's more exciting to get a double-sided one. And I will say that when I send out stickers, when people like order stickers from my shop, I have a thank you card in there, so that kind of goes on the back. But when I do my sticker subscription, I don't have that same thank you card, so I intentionally turned one sheet around. So again, both sides are exciting. Plus, I mean, it's not really an issue because it didn't really get damaged, but I will say, again, from lots of experience, having 2 stickers in here, having 2 sticker sheets, makes it slightly more rigid. So if anything were to put extra force on this in the box, it would be much more likely to hold up, not get wrinkled, etc., etc. Again, this is me being picky and critical, but picky and critical in some ways, in a fair way, I believe. It's kind of what we do here. So, yeah, when they manufacture the stickers or have someone else do them, they make them on separate machines that package them like that. Yeah, that's... I will say, though, like, they have machines that will do two to a thing, because... Or at least they have ways to... Like, my point is, I've seen that in the stores. I've seen that. I know it's possible to do it in some way, shape, or form. Also, they have a limited number of these seasonal surprise boxes, so it's not like they would have to do stickers like this, you know, millions every year. It's, you know, however many they're doing for the seasonal surprise boxes, and they're doing one every season. Ooh, excuse me, not every month. So, I'm especially because Erin Condren has been talking about how they're trying to be a little bit more eco-friendly. I will say cellophane is more eco-friendly than plastic, and these do feel like cellophane, but still. Cellophane, by the way, if anybody is curious, will break down within 20 years in, like, trash, whereas plastic obviously doesn't. So, yeah, I'm still going to be critical about stickers. Okay, Rainbow Gel Pen Duo. This is a sneak peek, which means in some way they are going to be in the shop. Now, I know they're saying $8.50, and I know that earlier, Ackman mentioned that you can get like a set of these on Amazon for less than they're saying here. I highly doubt, watch me be wrong, but I doubt it's going to be just these 2 pens for $8.50. Probably what's happening is it's going to be a set of like 5 or 6 pens that are going to be $8.50, and they're just giving us the duo here. And they just made like separate packaging. Again, I could be wrong, but I've seen Erin Condren do that in the past in the seasonal surprise box, where something is a sneak peek and the actual thing that was sold ended up being bigger. The one that's coming to mind is the the dual-sided interchangeable pen and highlighter things. Do you guys remember that? I got them, I think it was just in the seasonal surprise box. I don't think I got anything for ER. But yeah, they, oh my goodness. But yeah, they sent a like much smaller thing with the seasonal surprise box and said it was a sneak peek versus what actually ended up being sold. Ackman, with them being more eco-friendly, means that they order contents slide around more in the box, and the planner coil marks up other items in the box sometimes. That is a good point. I am still under the impression, though, that them removing the box from the planners is not being more eco-friendly. I think if people ask about it, that might be part of the excuse, or that could be like a supporting reason. I am still of the opinion that they removed the planner box because they kept it the same price, but they took something away. So the reason is inflation, so they could say, we're not raising the price, but in fact they kind of were because they took the box away. Just like when they added the box, they raised the price of the planners. I think it was like $10, and I'm like, oh, it's because of the box. And then a few years later, they take the box away, and they don't raise the price, whereas, you know, a couple other things went up this year, and they made maybe not a big deal, but they specifically said, at least in the affiliate town hall, we're not raising the price, but they took away the box, which means they are effectively raising the price because they took away some of the value. Kind of like how food companies have been, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, but like they'll keep the same price, but the packaging, you'll get less in the package. And so it's like, technically they didn't raise the price, but you're paying more. Anyway, they sell those stamp markers in packs of 2 for about $8 a pack. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being too optimistic. I hope that there'll be more in a pack. We'll see. Metallic nail art stickers, $7.50. I know Ackman said dollar store. I'm not sure if I would say that these are worth $7.50. I do see these being sold at like Target or Sally's for more than $1. I would say I would expect these. I mean, I expect Erin Condren to charge $7.50. I would think these are worth closer to like $5. Personally, from what I am familiar with in like the nail art and buying stuff, I've spent so much money. I mean, I think you guys, I've mentioned it a million times that this channel started as beauty. I never did too much nail stuff because it was a pain in the ass to film and edit, but yeah. If I was still like, if I was going to spend much time on doing a ton of beauty stuff now, I mean, I spend time on my hair, but that is a lot more infrequent. Maybe not infrequent, but like I do it and then I'll have to do it for a while. It's not like every day like you would have to for makeup or something like that. And then nails again because they last a long time. But yeah, I got sick of having the upkeep, and then even the long nails got annoying. So that's why I don't do nail stuff anymore. Oh, and then just painting my short nails, they chip so quickly it's not worth it. Rose Gold Mid-Century Circle Manicure Set. Again, I kind of think $15 is a little much for this. I think closer to 10 would be realistic, but it's also Erin Condren, so, you know, I'm not sure if I can be that, if being that critical is fair. And then the Self-Care Sticky Notepad, $8. Again, I put this in upside down. Again, I don't blame them for selling this for $8. I feel like 5 would be a little bit more realistic, but it's Erin Condren. So maybe I should not be picky about the prices, because I am the first to admit that their prices are kind of high. And so this is a sneak peek. So this will actually be in the shop. The gel pens will, and then the other ones just won't be in the shop exactly the way they are. They might be in the shop as something else, as we talked about. So we might get, you know, this, but instead of rose gold, it's gold. Something like that. I actually would not be surprised if the nail kit specifically doesn't end up coming to the shop in another form, just because it's not directly planner stuff. But, you know, that could just be, that is me guessing. I do not have any inside information on this in particular. And I think there are so many non-direct planner things that are like planner adjacent that Erin Condren should have but don't. Coffee mugs is the big one. Oh my god, I would buy all of the Erin Condren coffee mugs. All of them. Water bottles, another great one, especially if you had like a little water bottle holder. Yeah, that would be cute. They already sell lunch bags, or maybe they don't sell. Okay, I don't know if they sell them now, but they have sold lunch bags. But like the 𝗪𝗪𝗏, like that kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, it's a cozy thing, and planning is seen a lot of times as like a cozy activity. Drinking tea or coffee while you're planning, or hot chocolate is cozy too. Just saying. My first seasonal surprise box also had a mug in it, so I'm like, Erin Condren, I know you're capable of it. I know you're capable of it. I think they do so well. I'm also the type of person that loves to collect coffee mugs and then only uses like 3 of them. Yvonne makes an excellent point. The price of accessories is more realistic when you buy 4 and get the discount. They're priced accordingly. I didn't even think about that when I was looking at these, but I mean, that is something that you factor in when you're pricing stuff as somebody who does sell on Etsy. You know, how much are you pricing things so that if and when you put on it, you have some sort of discount, whether it's a sale price or, you know, buy 3 get 1 free, or you know, do a package, you know, package it with something else, are you still going to make that profit? And I mean, it's very common for people to, for places to say like, okay, we can price it X and make a profit, but we're going to raise it a little bit so that we can discount it. And that's one thing that I think a lot of small, like super small businesses, like we're talking, Etsy sellers or other couple, 3, 4 people in a company might not think about in the first place of like, okay, so how much can I afford to put this on sale? And is it worth, do I think I could get enough from consumers? Do I think they would be willing to pay regular price if I'm going to price it high enough to discount it super steeply? So, for example, I don't do typically sales on my stickers above 30%, and 30% is like once a year for Black Friday, if that, because if I did more than that, I would have to price my stickers higher, and I might end up making more money that way. I just did finances and stuff, and it's looking like I actually should be raising my prices by like 25 cents per sheet. I know I just like talked about it last week. Then I was kind of looking at things and I'm like, my materials in addition to the Etsy stuff like is going up. I had a stockpile. So I'm like, oh, I don't really have to worry about that. And I'm like, as soon as the stockpile is runs out, which it will soon, I'm going to be SOL unless I raise my prices a little bit. So, yeah, that's something you have to look at a lot, especially during times of inflation, and how you're going to price it to account for discounts. And Erin Condren is definitely not cheap, but they also price their stuff so that they're still making a nice profit when they discount it. So that is that back of the card. Make sure you tag us on social. Want to win next season's box. Upload an original unboxing to YouTube once you receive your box, and use the hashtag #𝗚𝗲𝗁𝗏𝑢𝑟𝑝𝑟𝑖𝑧𝑒_box in the video's title. I'm going to have to add that to the live stream title, and also look up the official rules, because I've pretty much already done that apart from the hashtag. Funny how that works out. I feel like way back in the day they had you take a picture of it and put it on Instagram. I like the video thing more. I know most people probably don't, but I like videos. So, yeah. Anyway, that is the box. Oh, box is, well, not empty because I still have this stuff inside of it. But, yeah. Also, I know Ackman mentioned, like, by going more eco with the packaging, stuff shifts more, but there is eco packaging people can use. I mean, maybe not like the plastic, but there are like paper packaging that I'm not sure exactly how to explain it if you like don't already know in your head what I'm talking about, but like the paper is kind of cut strategically and like pushed one way or the other so that it kind of has like a soft cushion. And, something like that, maybe you could even make it out of recycled paper since it's packaging and it doesn't have to have like a super, super nice finish or anything like that. That is an excellent way to keep things packaged very, very well as going more eco. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward, partially because, and if you don't sell stuff or if you don't live in Germany, you might not be aware of this, but Germany has passed some laws that are going to go into effect, I believe, as of July 1st, that restricts the packaging that people can use when shipping orders to Germany. And I have been lazy and not gone in on it, but effectively it sounds like, from the very limited research I've done so far, that Germany is effectively going to start keeping people that ship things like either within or to Germany from other companies more accountable for the environmental impact that they have. Again, I haven't done as much research as I really should on this, but you do have to like sign up under some sort of system, and it sounds like you have to pay some sort of fee. Again, I don't know what that is. I haven't worried about it too much because I don't tend to make a lot of sales to Germany. And then I got one last week, and I'm like, oh great, I really hope it gets through customs before this goes into effect, because I haven't done this yet. Most of my orders also ship in envelopes, so maybe they could pass as a letter in that case. I mean, I still write, like, it doesn't say like Etsy on it, but it says Pitney Bowes, which is like the sending company that Etsy uses when you purchase labels through them. But there's the, what is it called? The value added tax, or the VAT, VAT. I always think of it as VAT, but I don't know if it's actually called VAT for people that live in Europe, but it's effectively taxes that have to be added. And so when somebody buys something on Etsy, that is included in the price by Etsy, and then Etsy makes sure it goes to the appropriate jurisdiction. Same way they do sales tax in the US, which is really nice because we do not have sales tax in my area. And I can tell you, when I worked in auto finance, having to deal with sales tax was a pain in the butt, because I wasn't used to sales tax and how it works in the first place, and then I had to deal with it on a big scale. But it's kind of like import taxes. I think they have something similar in Canada, where like if stuff gets imported, you have to pay a specific tax on it, because it wasn't necessarily assessed, you know, any as part of the thing. Anyway, so when you're sending packages to those parts of the world, you and that VAT or VAT has already been paid, you have to put the number of the entity that paid it on the package, or in my case, envelope, so that they don't try to double assess it. Apparently they will say like, hey, you have to pay this before we'll give you the package, or whatever it is. Again, that's not something I personally have dealt with, so I'm not familiar with it. I just know about it more from a seller's point of view. In the US, for anybody who's wondering, because I have looked into this, I believe the threshold is $800. As long as you're importing something less than $800, you don't have to worry about import taxes or anything like that. Above that, you do have to worry about import taxes, which is part of why, I mean, that's not the only reason by any means, and not the primary reason, but part of the reason why I haven't gotten like stuff manufactured overseas or anything like that. Also, I mean, I don't mind making my own stuff. It's significantly cheaper, and I don't know. I like being able to say like, yeah, I printed and cut these stickers at home. So hopefully when I get big enough that I can't actually handle it on my own, I will be in a position where I can handle help. So it's like, maybe it's not done by me, but it's done in studio. That's more of a me thing than anything, though. So, yep. We're done, obviously, with the seasonal surprise box. Overall thoughts? I'm pretty happy with this. As to the things that I will actually use myself, oddly enough, I'm excited about this. It's going to go in my purse or my car. I have not decided which yet. But yeah, it's going to go there. I'll probably put the reusable shopping bag in my car because, again, I already have like really small ones that go in my purse. And if I put one of those in my car, I feel like it would get lost very easily, whereas something that is a little bigger than that, I feel like wouldn't get lost so fast in my super messy car. I'll probably use the pens a little bit. I often end up using, as much as I love colorful pens and you've seen me buy them, in actuality, I often end up using black pens more than anything. In fact, with the, pack of the dual-ended pens, that have the like chisel tip highlighter thing on one side and the fine tip on the other side, for the past like week and a half, all I've used is the black, even though all the other ones are really gorgeous. I just use the black all the time. What can I say? I like black pens. This, as I said, is probably going to go to my mom because she was mentioning that she wanted something like this. I will probably also offer her these covers. I wouldn't mind adding them to my collection, but again, since it's not one of my favorite designs, not sure how much she'll love it either, but just, I mean, this kind of design does not remind me of her, but I'll offer it to her in case she wants it. The productivity journal, I'm thinking I might try to give it to my sister, or I might see if I can sell it. Same with the stickers. I don't think my mom's really gonna like the stickers. I think that goes through, oh, and then the nail decals, I'll probably throw these in my, they'll go in my nail art stash, which is huge. Even after I cleaned it out, it was huge. And probably needs to be cleaned out again, and they probably won't get used for a long time because I have a bunch of different decals and I like never use them because I don't want to use decals if I'm just like painting color on my nails or something, because I'm like, oh, it's not going to last long enough. But usually when I bother to do acrylics, by the time I get to the point where I could do nail art, it's like 2.5, 3 hours into the process, and I am just done. By the way, when I say do acrylics, I don't mean like actual acrylics. I mean either dip powder acrylics, which does use acrylic powder, or polygel, which is kind of a cross between, it's basically gel, not gel nail polish, but gel for like making nail extensions, but it is a thicker consistency that mimics acrylic, mimics acrylic a little bit better, I guess. So, just as I've mentioned, I've done like hours and hours of research into doing my own hair and, doing blonde and highlights and all that good stuff, because I find that fun. Back in the day, it was my nails. Before I got really into doing my hair, it was my nails. For the longest time, I was afraid to use bleach in my hair, and then I finally tried it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I still got to be careful, but this isn't that bad. So, still have not actually done the test strand that I need to do to figure out if high lift color is going to work, in case you were wondering. With my whole hair thing, I don't know, it's getting long enough that maybe I could call it like a little bit of a balayage-ish. No, not really, it just grown out. I don't really care, actually. Well, okay, I kind of do care, but I also kind of don't. Like, it's not enough. It doesn't bother me enough that I need to go do something about it now. But, alas, once again, we have gotten quite off topic. Here is the thing the conundrum I'm finding myself in currently, and I need you guys to help me out in the comments, if you're here live. If you're not here live, then unfortunately, your feedback won't help because the stream will already be over. Do you want to hang out and do anything else now? What do you want to talk about? Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you're looking forward to from Erin Condren? Any of that good stuff? Because this was what I had planned for today, and we're done with it. Of course, I can just yammer on about random stuff. I have fun doing that, but I also want to make myself available to you guys and chat about what you guys want to chat about. So I will go ahead and put that out there while I'm giving you guys a few minutes to actually hear what I'm saying due to the lag, as well as actually leave a comment, since I know that does take a little bit of time, especially if you're on a phone. That can be a little bit awkward, or maybe not. It's just awkward for me. Anyway, so I have not heard back yet from Erin Condren if I am going to be getting anything from the back to school collection. I know I mentioned the other day that I applied to get that, or some things from it as PR. Have not heard back. I do not know if and when I will hear back, but I thought I would just update you that I have not heard anything back as of right now. I am not expecting any PR from Erin Condren coming up, but I of course will continue to cover new Erin Condren releases and stuff like that, whether, if I don't end up getting PR or buying it. I'm guessing I probably won't. If I don't get stuff as PR, there's a lot of stuff I will not end up buying, just because I already have a lot of planner stuff that I like more than I can use, and I don't want to continue to add to that. But we'll do what we always do, where we go through the pictures and we blow everything up and we dig into everything and we get out all the details possible. And then those of you who have bought it or are close enough to a store that you are able to go in and look at it and touch it, then, we can talk about that. And or if somebody has seen somebody else's review, again, we can talk about that as well. I also want to mention that if you guys ever have any like new releases or things that you want me to cover as planner news on this channel, feel free to send them my way. As of right now, I don't have like an official process in place, but I'm thinking if you just email me to 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗏@gmail.com and put in the subject line planner news, I'll see it, and then I can just pull it out and decide if it's something that I would like to cover on the channel. Specifically, as I said, this could be new releases, this could be, I don't know, and like if something, you know, went wrong, like for instance, like with the compact vertical, they had to do the reprint or something like that. But like, I mean, I knew about that because you guys told me. So, you know, things like that, you could email me about it so I know about it ahead of time if you want, or if you have specific questions that you would like me to cover in a video. I would say like something a little bit bigger, like a one-off, like quick answer, maybe not, but like something that's going to involve some digging. Email that to me. I'm kind of trying to, I don't want my email to be overrun with a ton of emails because I'm already not the best at responding to everybody super quickly, and I get overwhelmed by emails, but I also want a place for you guys to pass stuff along to me if you see something that you think I should cover, because I will be the first to admit that I don't see everything. I am quite busy. I don't always have time to watch planner videos from all the different people. And sometimes news comes out in spaces that for one reason or another, I'm not watching. Or, I mean, if there's a brand that's not Erin Condren, right now I'm specifically watching Erin Condren, but you know, if I don't know, Happy Planner or Plum Paper Planner or something makes a big announcement that you think I should cover, something new, then I think you guys should be able to tell me. So if it ends up being a little overwhelming, the amount of response I'm getting, I might put something a little bit more structured in place. But for right now, just email me at 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗏@gmail.com and put in the subject line planner news, so I know that that's what it is and it's not something else, and that I should actually look at it like super soon, and it shouldn't wait. That makes sense. So yeah, let's see what the comment says. Ackman, I'm so tempted to get a special edition Star Wars academic planner, but do I really need another planner right now after getting a life planner? Yes. Oh my life. But to make it look better with the dark cover is to get the black foil, but that is another $10. Get money fat. All of the money. I need all of the money. Lynn's saying hammer on or make stickers. Okay, I mean, we can definitely do either today. I think I also might start doing more streams. Some of this might be Saturday streams, or I might end up doing additional streams where I'm like chatting with you guys, and it probably won't be on a screen share, but like in the background, I'm doing like the really boring like tasks for listing and making stickers that are like just rote, and I can do something else while I'm doing them. Like, you know, saving a specific type of sticker in 20 different colors and 3 different sizes. Oh man, is that boring? Oh man, oh man. And then, of course, things have to process for a while. So it's not like I can just do it. I have to like wait 30 seconds to a minute for it to process before I can do the next thing. So I think, I don't know. I think doing that sort of thing while I'm chatting with you, I don't think it would have much, if any, impact on my ability to chat with you. And I think it would help me significantly in actually getting things done, because that's the kind of thing that I often have a very hard time actually accomplishing. I know I've mentioned I have so many sticker designs that are made, but like are not up in the shop because I have not like converted them to the appropriate sizes. I haven't made pictures. I haven't actually uploaded it to Etsy. And I was thinking about trying to hire a virtual assistant or something like that. And then I'm like, okay, realistically, maybe this is just me getting in my head about it and overthinking it, but like how much time am I actually going to save hiring somebody versus me just doing it myself, because I'd have to get everything to them, if that makes sense. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can do it on a stream. That would be fun, would benefit you guys, and it would help me get my shit done, which is a benefit to me besides getting to hang out and chat. The other thing I've been thinking about, I think I kind of mentioned this before, is my business coach in my like little coaching group thingy thinks I should try streaming on Twitch instead of or in addition to YouTube. And it is possible to stream on both at the same time. There's also a big planner and planner sticker community on Facebook. I don't really like Facebook, but it would be a cool way to invite and get a lot of other people involved in our little community. And so I've been thinking about trying out other platforms. So at some point I will probably do a stream or two on Twitch as an experiment. And then if those experiments work well, I may either continue streaming on Twitch or I might stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. She has a Twitch itch. Okay, so the way she put it, 𝗚𝗏𝘚, which actually does make interesting sense, is that Twitch is currently the #1 streaming site. And she has streamed non-gaming things on Twitch and actually gotten organic views. I also know that people, like artists and whatnot, stream stuff on Twitch. So I'm thinking making stickers and whatnot. I definitely would not stop streaming that on YouTube, but I'm thinking maybe if I could stream them both at the same time, again, we could kind of maybe add some more people to our little community. Or I might, stream 3 times on Twitch and be like, nope, nope, nope. I tried streaming games on Twitch a few years ago. At the time, I did not really have the technology to stream what I was trying to stream. I still don't. For the game stuff, I would need a capture card, and I'm not willing to buy that at the moment. Plus, I know I've mentioned this before, like I keep going back and forth on like, do I actually want to stream game stuff? Because as much as I would love to stream it, I have a huge tendency to try to turn hobbies into streams of income, which is often fun, but in some cases, it can take the fun out of the hobby. Vaughn's saying both at the same time would make sense. I agree. The reason why I would do a couple of tests streaming just on Twitch is so that I can get a sense for Twitch and how everything works now before I also work on what I would need behind the scenes to make sure that I can stream both at the same time. I think I know what platform I would use to do it, but I think it just makes a little bit of sense. The other thing is that if I was going to stream to both YouTube and Twitch, I would want to have a way to have both YouTube and Twitch go into the chat that is on the screen on this side. On this side. So I would need to find a way to do that. If I do end up streaming at some point on Facebook, that will probably come a little later because it costs money to multi-stream to Facebook and other platforms, or at least stream on Facebook pages. And I do like to keep my personal Facebook profile a little personal. Occasionally there are exceptions made, but for the most part, I don't like to give that one away. If you just search 𝗏𝗏𝘚 Williams on Facebook, you will not find my personal profile. You'll find my page. I do that intentionally with said personal profile, just so that I don't get even more bombarded on Facebook, because I used to love Facebook, but now it just feels like there is so much going on. It gets very overwhelming very fast. And at least a few years ago when I was on Facebook a lot, there was a lot of drama. And I know part of that, if not all of that, was the people that I was hanging out with that were like, had friended at the time. But it also left slightly maybe not a sour taste in my mouth, but apart from like just it feeling so overwhelmed, I don't know. It just, it didn't give me the warm fuzzies, and so I stopped going on Facebook. Kind of the same way I stopped spending a ton of time on Instagram. I realized that I started comparing, not started, but I was comparing myself to everybody. I was being very critical, and I realized that I was not getting enough enjoyment out of it to warrant some of the stuff that I was dealing with internally and to necessarily want to work on it directly. Yvonne, not sure about Facebook, but the advantage of YouTube to me is watching replays and you can adjust the playback speed. Was it you that I was talking about? No, I think it was somebody else I was talking about that. Samantha, I think, in the comments on another video. I love adjusting the playback speed. I don't do it all the time. I usually watch at normal speed, but usually when I'm researching something, I will end up turning it to either 1.25 or 1.5 speed. I also go through phases where I just turn the speed up, or sometimes if I'm watching somebody who tends to talk especially slow, I can't think of anyone in particular, but I know that there have been some videos where I am just watching for fun, and I'm like, this is going a little slow, and I turn up the speed. Yeah. It is a little bit hard to go back to normal speed after going on extra speed, though. Not directly related to YouTube, but a while back, I was trying to get through all of the Harry Potter audiobooks fairly quickly. And I don't remember why. I had some sort of deadline in mind. I don't think it was any one of the movies, because I think those would have been already out by then. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly when this was. But anyway, I did the math, and I'm like, okay, there's no way I can get through all these audiobooks in the amount of time I have, just realistically. So I ended up listening, I forget if it was 1.5 or double speed. And after a while, I got used to it, and I liked it quite a bit. And then I ended up having to go back to normal speed. Now that I think about it, I think one of the movies was coming out, because I remember I ended up having to go back to normal speed because I was on a road trip with my dad, and he's a big audiobook person too. He's the person who introduced me to audiobooks back when I was 7. Yes, I'm an audiobook hipster. I'm proud of it. I have all the stories about listening to audiobooks on cassette tape, and I will brag about it. And instead of each listening to our own audiobooks, you know, before I put my audiobook on, I'm like, hey, I'm listening to Harry Potter right now. You're welcome to listen to it with me over, like, you know, the sound system, or I can just put on my headphones. You know, I don't care, but I figured I'd give you the option. And he's like, oh yeah, well, let's listen to it on the car, you know, through the car. And so I put it back to 1x speed, and it was hard to go back. But I also have noticed that faster volumes of things get me ramped up a little bit more, which is great during the day. But insomnia is a bitch, and I have a hard time winding down to get to sleep. And sometimes the only time in the day that I have time to listen to audiobooks is while I'm winding down for bed, and while I'm actually going to sleep. I do listen to audiobooks as I'm falling asleep. It's always something that I've listened to before. It's been a while since I've listened to it, because it has to be something interesting enough to keep me engaged so that my mind will not wander all the places and keep me up. But it has to be not interesting enough that I will stay awake to figure out what happens next. So it is a very, very fine line. But that has been what works best for me. But listening to it at, you know, 1.5 or double speed, I found has kept me up. And so I have to listen at at single speed for that reason. And usually if I'm listening during the day, I just don't bother changing it back, is what it is. For anybody who's curious, right now I'm re-listening to the Hunger Games trilogy. I'm actually on Catching Fire right now. And I'm listening to it. I do not remember. Oh, I can actually look it up because I'm not using my phone anymore for a camera. So I can take it down. I use Scribd for my audiobooks. I personally like it better than Audible because it's not a credit system like Audible has. You like get 1 credit a month and then you can listen to, you know, like, I think it's like 2 Audible originals and 1 other audiobook, and then there's some stuff that's unlimited. Anyway, I forget exactly how that works. For me, I get into the mindset of wanting to make sure it's like the perfect book, so I'm getting my money's worth, and then I don't end up getting anything. Scribd, on the other hand, there are some limits, but for the most part, you can just listen to whatever you want. It also has ebooks, PDFs, sheet music. I mostly just listen to the audiobooks. Occasionally, I read an ebook if it's not available on audiobook, but usually if something's not available on audiobook, I either go somewhere to try to find it on audiobook, or I just don't read it. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is that there was a special edition of the Hunger Games trilogy on audiobook recorded. I don't know, let's see, it was in 2018. So it wasn't like super recently, but the original one, I think the original audiobook, I think I listened to it in like 2007 or 2008. So it's been out significantly longer. And the 2 different narrators on the 2 different editions sound very different and have very different inflections. And if you listen to audiobooks or you have listened to audiobooks, you know the narrator can make a huge difference to your experience. And there are some audiobooks that I would love to listen to, but I cannot get into it because of the narrator. For instance, I want to say it's Neil Gaiman, the author. I want to listen to his books, but he narrates a lot of his own books, and I personally do not connect with the way he narrates his books, which is a shame because I think he's a great writer from what I have heard. I just don't like his narration style. Now, we could debate on whether it's he's not a good narrator or I don't like his narration style, but okay, I just don't like it. Let me just put it that way. There are some other instances where I'm like, oh, I like this. Tamara Pierce is another one. Luckily, for the most part, the ones where she's narrating, she's like the main narrator and it's a full cast recording. The Wild Magic Quartet is the one that comes to mind. And yeah, I just don't like her general narration style, but I've listened to that particular quartet and I liked it, but there was like another quartet where I just could not get over it. But I also love several of her other books that it's just narrated by a certain person. So, Ackman, listen to the HP books. Did I just say HP? The HP books on the American version, then listen to them again at the British version. They're very different. I've never listened to the British version, but I've listened to the American version many a time. But yeah, I will see if I can get my hands on the British version, because I think Stephen Fry did the British version. And that would be really cool. But yeah, I'm very familiar, very, very familiar with the American version. Okay, this is going to be a really stupid complaint about the Harry Potter audiobooks. Probably. But it still bugs the hell out of me. They use the same song to open all of the books, like while they're saying, like, you're listening to, you know, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, read by, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name. I want to say it's like Daniel something, but I could get it mixed up with Daniel Radcliffe. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's the same song every time. It's like dun 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 dun. Anyway, same one for the first 6, and then they use a different song for the 7th. Jim Dale, thank you, Ackman. Yes, Jim Dale. Bugged me so much. I'm guessing it was probably a copyright thing, which I get. Still bugged me so much. Now, what bugged me even more than that and made it completely unlistenable too, is that I'm trying to think of how much of this context I actually have to say in order to make this make sense. Okay, so most people have heard of the book movie, Ender's Game, right? So there is a companion book to that called Ender's Shadow, which tells essentially the same story from the perspective of another character, Bean. And there is one character in Bean's story that is not present in Ender's, is 𝗫𝗄𝘄, which is spelled as if it's Achilles, but it's pronounced as 𝗫𝗄𝘄. And they get it right in the first one. And then that one actually does have specific sequels. It's Ender's Shadow, and then maybe Shadow. They're all have to do with shadows. I forget what it is. But those books have two different narrators, one male, one female. Well, I'm assuming that's what it is. It's from their voice, and they, anyway, I'm not going to get into gender stuff right now. But I'm like 99% sure it's the same two narrators in both. And so I think it's the female narrator who like gets it right in the first one and not in the second one. And about halfway through the book, it was bugging me so much because it's legitimately a plot point, the pronunciation of this name. And I'm sure it was the kind of thing where she like had done enough in between that she just forgot about it, and her parts of the book probably didn't specify that, even though in the previous book they had. But it got really, really annoying. I've dealt with that when it's like, especially a narrator change from one book to the next. And yes, it's annoying when something is pronounced incorrectly, but in that book, as I said, it was the pronunciation versus the spelling in both was a plot point specifically, and the other narrator pronounced it significantly differently, and it really bothered me. And I was not interested enough in the book, I guess, to overshadow that, and it bugged me so much. I should go back at some point, but I also was significantly less interested in that book than the first one. Ackman, you have them on a thumb drive for your commute. I mean, I literally have, let's see, Harry Potter, I think it's either 2 and 4 or 2 and 5. No, 3 and 4 or 3 and 5. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which book. I have 2 Harry Potter audiobooks, like, in my pile of stuff that I need to get away on cassette tape. I also have the digital files, and they're on my phone to listen to them. But I also have a lot of other audiobooks that I listen to, and honestly, I have listened to the Harry Potter audiobooks so many times since I was a kid that even though I am still a Potter fan, they're not nearly as interesting as they were. I think in like 5 or 6 years, I can go back and listen to them, and it will be great, but I've just over-listened to them at this point, I think. So, yeah. Typically when I want to listen to like a comforting audiobook and I'm like thinking, oh, what author should I go to? Because a lot of times I do think that. My go-to, and who I like to say is my favorite author, is Diana Wynne Jones. Not a lot of people have necessarily heard about her as an author specifically, but she wrote the original version of Howl's Moving Castle, which Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli then translated and made into an animated movie, which is well beloved. And I honestly, I watched the movie first, then I read the book, not realizing the movie was based on a book by her. I think the book is better, but it's also fascinating to watch the movie knowing this and being able to see some of those differences. Some of them are very, are easily explainable. For instance, there is one character named Markle in the movie. His name is Michael in the book, and since I know a little bit of Japanese, I know how Japanese phonetics work, and there is no L in Japanese. It doesn't exist. They have an R sound, which is kind of a cross between the English R, L, and D. And so a lot of times when their R's get translated into English, they'll end up being R's, sometimes they'll end up being L's. And if you ever have somebody speaking English whose first language is Japanese, a lot of times when there's an R or an L in a word, they are guessing which one it is, or they had to rote memorize it because their ears can't hear the sounds the way English speakers' ears can. It's kind of the same thing like I hear in not in Japanese, in Chinese languages, they have like a lot of different pitches and tone intonations in their words and inflections that are very important in how their language is communicated, that people who speak English typically cannot hear because we did not grow up hearing it. It's actually, when babies are born, they are born being able to recognize all of the sounds from all of the languages, but as they develop just hearing specific languages and sounds, they kind of lose the ability to pick up on all of those other sounds and differences and whatnot. Quite fascinating. Have you seen James Bond movies over the years? I feel like I know I've seen a couple of them, but I don't have a huge memory of them. I'm not a huge fan. Sorry. Listen to the original books from Ian Fleming. They are totally different. Oh, I see. Yeah, that would be very interested. I have even listened to Laura Ingalls Wilder books during my commute. Howl's was too boring for me. It is very much of kind of like a slice of life sort of thing, I guess. A lot of the other books by Diana Wynne Jones, like none of them are really action-packed, but they are a little bit less slice of life-y, I guess is what I should say. But I'm trying to think action-wise if the movie and the book differ significantly. There's no war in the book, or maybe there's a war, but it's not like a main plot point. It's kind of happening like in the background, I think, from what I remember. The Witch of the Waste does not end up being good or reformed or whatever you want to call it in the book. Though she's not, okay, technically she's not the ultimate villain. I'm going to leave it at that. In case anybody does want to read the book. There are also 2 companion books to Howl's Moving Castle, which again are kind of like slice of lifey. I have to say, as far as Diana Wynne Jones books go, they are not necessarily my favorites. They definitely have a slower pace. I will also say, books by Diana Wynne Jones, Howl's Moving Castle included, tend to have slow openings. It's usually like going back and looking at it, having read it, it makes sense as to why it was done that way. But and I have to be in the right mood for it. But I know from experience, whenever I'm listening to a new audiobook where the book was written by Diana Wynne Jones, I have to be prepared to get through the first like half hour, 45 minutes at least before I decide to put it down completely. Because I know the openings are going to be slow. And usually once I get into it, it is fascinating. Very fascinating. But I just have to get through the beginning. But yeah, I also, from her, I mean, I love a lot of her books. There are not too many that I think are duds. The only actual dud from her is The Magicians of Caprona. But luckily, even though it's technically part of a series, you can skip it and it doesn't make a difference. But yeah, the Dark Lord of 𝗏𝗏𝗁 is great. I loved that one. The sequel I didn't like as much, but in that case, part of it might be the narrator. I'm not as much of a fan of that narrator. So that's too bad. And again, narrators can totally make or break audiobooks. And so, I mean, back in the day, but yeah, back before technology was so pervasive and everybody had the ability to do all of this stuff in their house, but audiobooks had to be recorded in studios. And so you used to see a lot of the same narrators narrating books, specifically if you ended up getting audiobooks from the same studio. So for instance, you still see audiobooks from Recorded Books Incorporated. Or sometimes it's just called recordedbooks.com. I mean, that's like their web address. Typically they're going to have like either a red top and bottom on the audiobook cover, or it's going to be like read all around with the cover of the book inside it. That's recorded books. And so like there are specific narrators that like I know from there, like George Guidall, Christina Moore. Those are the only two that are coming to my head. But pretty much anything I see that is narrated by George Guidall or Christina Moore, I know, like, I like their narration style, so I'm almost definitely gonna like the book. George Guidall is a lot more matter of fact, maybe a little bit less more animated. Christina Moore is a little bit more animated. But yeah, nowadays you get people doing audiobooks a lot of times from their houses. And my dad actually has recorded some audiobooks for Audible, which is kind of how I know this. So you can essentially make your own little home recording, setup, get a mic. You do have to have a way to like dampen sounds around you and make sure that there's not going to be humming in the background from a computer and stuff like that. But you can, record books from your home, and I would not be surprised if most recorded books these days are recorded that way. You are going to have your more high-profile recorded books on the caliber of, I don't know, like Harry Potter, and anything that's part of like a big series probably, or anything that there's like a big budget movie coming out about, or anything from a well-known author is probably going to be recorded in a studio. You cannot always tell just from listening to it, however, because the ability to record very well at home has gotten so good. I mean, if you've seen the movie Encanto, almost all, if not all, of those vocals, okay, maybe not all, but most of those vocals, if not all, were recorded from people's home studios during the pandemic. And if you didn't know that, you wouldn't guess. It has gotten so good. And Yvonne has a friend that records from her house. She was an actor first and has won many awards for her narration. Ooh, that is exciting. I guess, I mean, now that you talk about like narration, like I mentioned that my dad's narrated a couple books for Audible. He also read to me when I was a little kid. And so my whole like pickiness about narrators, part of that could be that I was spoiled. Like he was great. He did all the voices. Like it was so weird when I actually tried to listen to one of his audiobooks that he recorded. And I'm like, this is so weird. I'm not used to hearing my dad through my earbuds, like unless I'm on a call with him. But yeah, so I forget the name of the website, but effectively, there's a website where people who publish books can go to have recordings done for Audible, and people who are interested in recording those books can submit auditions. And this is more like for the small publishers, people that are self-publishing. As I said, there's like bigger stuff tends to get treated separately, either actually done in a studio or maybe done by somebody who is already a professional or who has more of a resume or more connections. I don't know too much about that. I only know kind of what my dad has told me. But what is really cool, if you are self-publishing something and would like to get an audiobook made from it, so I know like a lot of self-publishers don't have a ton of money, so there are actually a couple of different ways that you can pay the narrator. The first one is, of course, to pay them by the length of the completed audio, and the other way is to do a revenue split, which is very cool. Very cool. Of course, the person has to agree if they want to do the revenue split portion of things, because they aren't really guaranteed anything. But assuming that they agree to do that, that gives so many independent authors the ability to have audiobooks made of their work, which then makes it so much more accessible for people. I mean, in general, people love audiobooks these days. You have people like me who, I mean, I think even if I didn't have ADHD, I would like audiobooks, but I think having ADHD, audiobooks are a lot more accessible to me than reading books, because I can do something else with my hands while I'm listening to audiobooks, whereas it's a little bit harder to do that with reading. And reading the same book versus listening to it, the book, reading it tends to bore me, interestingly enough. And then you also have people that are visually impaired or blind who physically cannot read a book unless it's in Braille or an audiobook. And so having those things make it so much more accessible. In fact, in Britain, I forget what it's called, but they legitimately have like a website where if you're vision impaired, you can sign up to get free audiobooks. I think it's like $6 a month or something like that. So cool. So cool. Let's see, Jurassic Park. Some of that audio was done from the actors' homes. Ooh, nice. Especially in the action scenes. See, yeah, it's come so far. And I mean, I know Encanto is a kid's movie, but one, it's a good movie. And two, I like kids movies, so sue me if you're annoyed about me talking about Encanto. But they have like little behind the scenes featurettes that you can watch on YouTube, showing like, you know, the behind the scenes process of working with the actors during the actual like recording of stuff, and like they'll be working with the director over Zoom. Like, whoa. And then they also have another one where they're talking about the music and what goes into that, and part of that is showing the actors, or, you know, the vocal, well, I mean, it's the actors that do the vocals, I think, for all the characters. I know for some of them it's the same person. But they'll have, you know, like Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote everything, on Zoom with them, like giving them feedback and stuff like that. And it is just so cool to see what can be done, and then to watch this movie and not be able to tell. Or like Jurassic Park, I didn't see Jurassic Park, so I cannot specifically speak to that. But Jurassic Park is a big budget movie, and with what I know about, you know, quality of what you can do at home, I'm not surprised if you would not be able to tell. So there is so much that can be done these days. It's absolutely amazing. And it also opens up a lot of opportunities for people that, you know, maybe don't have the ability to go to more traditional auditions, especially with like, you know, audiobook stuff and whatnot. Typically, a lot of audiobooks often end up being recorded in some of the same cities, I think. It's the same with anime, interestingly enough, but I don't know how much of that is done at home. But yeah. But yeah, like Recorded Books Incorporated, they're like, they, you know, have their studios wherever it is. Maybe they have multiples or they just have one. But, you know, prior to people being able to do stuff at home, it wasn't even an option to do it not at their studio. Like, you had to come in or nothing. So yeah, very cool. I will also say all of this has opened up more opportunities for, I won't say bad, I will say mediocre voice actors to get in. Especially, I mean, a lot of them happen to be smaller books that a lot of people don't end up listening to or finding out about anyway, but sometimes it's a book that does end up blowing up, and that person just isn't as experienced of an actor, and does not read the book in a way that is as immersive to me, I guess. And again, I do want to make it very clear that some of this is personal preference. I will say that some of the best narrators I've ever heard have also been either professional voice actors or actors. For instance, I mentioned that some of Tamara Pierce's books that are just narrated by one person are excellent. So one of them is her Alana quartet, or the Line It's Rampant quartet, with Alana being the main character. That's narrated by Trini Alvarado, who I'm guessing most people don't know of, but if you've seen the 90s version of Little Women, she played Meg. So that's how I know her. I'm like, ooh, this sounds really, really familiar. And I looked her up. I mean, this was like 15 years ago, or no. Oh my God, this was like 20 years ago now. That makes me feel old. Being able to say anything like, oh, that happened like 20 years ago makes me feel very old. That is a very millennial thing to say. But yeah, I was like, this just sounds so familiar. So I think she did a great job though. And so yeah, that is my experience, but I also do not listen to an audiobook just because I don't know the narrator. There, as I said, there are some people, mostly gay men, who I've learned to be like, okay, if they're narrating a book, I'm not going to even try. But for the most part, I like to give it a shot, because just because I have not heard of them doesn't mean they aren't amazing. Just like actors, just because they are not, household names or international celebrities doesn't mean they are not amazing at their craft. So, you wouldn't not see a movie just because you didn't know of any of the actors in it. I mean, you might not actively choose that movie over another one, but if the premise of the movie is good, I honestly don't typically care who is in it. I don't even think there are any actors that I was like, I will not go see their movies because they're a terrible actor. And then, of course, I was following the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and so there's a lot going on about, like, people, like, boycotting for various reasons, and I don't want to necessarily get into that here, because that is not this kind of channel, and I am not prepared to have that kind of debate. Currently, what I will say on that, though, is I would highly recommend, if you have not already, watch a reputable recap of the trial and the actual facts that were presented before making a decision. If you don't mind putting 2 or 3 hours into it, I highly recommend Legal Bites. You can just listen to it in the background, but it is, that channel is run by a lawyer named 𝗚𝗏𝘗, and she goes through every day of the trial, talking about things factually, explaining how the legal and the court system works. And she does so in what I believe is a very neutral way, even though sometimes she will also express her opinions, but she does her recaps in a way that even if she is expressing her opinions, she makes it very clear that these are her opinions, and she gives credit, I believe, to both parties where credit is due, and does so in a way that allows you to draw your own conclusions. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody is interested in seeing what happened, that takes a little while. I'd recommend doing that. If not, I'm sure that there are other places you can find like reviews of the trial and what actually happened online, because I've seen a lot of media going around from people that did not follow the trial, and it really bugs me when people make uninformed opinions and then will stick very hard behind those opinions and not budge, but also not want to look at the facts. This is also America, or at least I live in the United States of America. America, I actually hate that, but it kind of emphasizes my point in that we like to never admit we're wrong a lot of times. And I think that that is often a very ignorant stance to take. I understand why people don't like to admit why they're wrong. It's almost never pleasant to do so. And a lot of people also hold their opinions as part of their identity, so that when you challenge an opinion that they have, you are attacking them as a person. And it can be really hard to get out of that way of thinking. And I am certainly not perfect about it, but I did hear an analogy that I thought was excellent from a creator, 𝗀𝗏𝗁. If you've not checked out his videos, again, another one I highly recommend checking out. Again, I mean, all these people I'm recommending are significantly bigger than me, so I would not be surprised if you've heard of all of these people. But 𝗀𝗏𝗁, I forget the context, but he talks about, you know, this thing about how people hold opinions as part of them and their self-worth, but what is a healthier way to think about your opinions? I'm trying to find a visual aid, but I'm not sure if I have anything appropriate here. Okay, well, this is better than nothing. So the analogy he uses is, instead of your opinions being part of you, think of your opinions as like popsicle sticks or slips of paper in a cup. And like the cup is you as a person, and the opinions go in the cup, or in this case, it's a little drawer divider thingy. And this is you, but whatever is in it is not you as a person, and it is healthier to treat your opinions as something that can be pulled out and replaced when, for one reason or another, they do not make sense to you. So I did not explain it nearly as well as he could, but I hope that at least makes some sense, and that is something I try to do, but it can be very difficult because it's human nature, I think, to hold our opinions, and especially when you, like, you know, I say, oh, people see their opinions as part of their self-worth. And I say that as if it's always a bad thing. And it isn't necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of times, you know, these are basic morals. Or a moral value is attached to said opinion. And so if by attacking that opinion, whether or not you have logic, you're attacking that moral value. And that can, or by somebody, I should say, attacking that opinion, they're attacking that moral value, and that moral value, again, even if you do not hold that opinion as part of yourself, you might hold the moral value as part of yourself. And then, so being exposed to sound logic that goes against that opinion can feel like they're attacking you as a moral human being. I wish I could articulate this better, but I'm honestly not an expert. So I hope that makes sense, and I think it's something that everybody probably needs to work on, but because in the United States, we definitely have a society in place where we are individuals. I mean, isn't a bad thing, but you know, we have that in place where, like, I'm right, you're wrong, and sometimes it can be very hard to get people to, like, listen or to meet halfway and whatnot. I don't know. I think psychology stuff kind of comes in, and for me as a person, I don't know. I would like to be the kind of person who is not above having my opinions examined, even if that puts me into a minor, like, crisis of self once I think about, like, okay, how does that impact other things about how I view myself? And I've definitely had that, and it's definitely not pleasant to try to kind of square everything away in my brain. Patrice, finally getting us back to planners, because I'm randomly talking. Does anybody know about other planners that fit the covers? I'm assuming you mean Erin Condren covers, because Erin Condren is on the title of the stream. Oh, let's see. I don't want to buy a new Erin Condren to them. It's too pricey. I'll even sell them. I do not know off the top of my head other planners that would fit the Erin Condren covers. Oh, I know Recollections planners at Michael's are supposed to be, okay, at least back in the day they were dupes. I don't know if they still are or if they use the same coil. But if you are going into a store, one thing you could do is bring an Erin Condren cover in there. That way you could put it on a planner. Even if the planner doesn't necessarily have interchangeable covers, you could either put your interchangeable cover from Erin Condren on top of that planner, or on top of that cover to keep it intact, or you could, if you don't like the cover but you like the inside of the planner, just like rip or cut the cover out. So that is an option. But if anybody knows of other planners that fit the covers, let us know. Another option, it's not a specific planner brand, but you could always try Etsy. There are a lot of people on Etsy who make their own planners. A lot of them are digital planners or printable planners. And for anybody who is not aware, printable is you print it out and use it. Digital is typically like used on an iPad or other tablet sort of thing. For the planner community, I'm guessing a lot of you already knew that distinction, but for people that are not in the planner community, sometimes they don't, and I've had to explain that to people quite a few times, so I just thought I'd go over it for anybody who may not be aware of that, because it can be quite confusing. But anyway, I would not be surprised if there are some people on Etsy who make planners that use a coil that fits it. And I know it's possible to buy coils that fit the Erin Condren covers. And I talked about it earlier. Some people will get an extra coil and will just put all their spare covers on it. And so I would not be surprised if people use those coils to make planners and then sell them on Etsy. So that is, I mean, it's not going to be like a big planner brand. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know what you're getting yourself into, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But if anybody has any other experience with that, please let us know. I've also heard that you can get hole punches to hole punch stuff for the Happy Planner disc system. So another option, you would have to hole punch your Erin Condren planners, but you could essentially punch them for Happy Planner and use them with Happy Planners. So that's another option. There are a couple of other planners that use discs as well. Happy Planner, I think, is just the most well-known one. So, yeah. Another thing with the Erin Condren planners, I will mention though, Patrice, because they are pricey. I will definitely not pretend they're not pricey. Was that a double? Hopefully you understood what I meant, even if I used too many negatives. There are ways to get them at a discount. So, you know, if you're like, oh, I'm willing to spend $30 on a planner, but I'm not willing to spend, you know, $60 on a planner or whatever it is. As I said, there are ways to get discounts. One great way is to wait until the holidays. Black Friday, and Erin Condren in the past has also done several other sales and deals, usually around Black Friday or the New Year. That is a great option. Another option is usually in February or March, Erin Condren starts putting all of their dated planners on deep discounts in anticipation for the next year. So you do have to wait a couple of months into the new year, but I want to say they've gone as much as like 50 or 60% off, and that's pretty high. You can also stack other things. So for instance, I have a link in the description box down below that if you've never made a purchase on the Erin Condren website, you can get $10 off your first purchase. I also have another link where you can sign up for Erin Condren's texts and get 15% off. I think in some cases they will also offer 15% off for signing up for the emails. They sometimes have other sales, other deals, coupons, things like that coming out. And a lot of those can be stacked. I know for a fact that the $10 off your first purchase can be stacked with other things. So if you'd like to have an Erin Condren planner and you're just looking for a discount, there are certainly ways to get that. So that is another option for you. Yeah, Ackman, stacking sales with coupon codes and stuff like that can save a lot. If you have a friend who uses Erin Condren planners, a lot of the planners come with a welcome packet, which have a 20% off coupon. And some coupons can even be stacked with each other. Yeah, not all of them. I tried to stack a 20 and a 15 during the Life Planner launch, and that didn't work, but I've heard of a lot of people that were able to stack multiple 20s, and I wish I'd known about it now, because I was literally on stream like, oh, what should I take out of my cart, because I have to take something out, and not figuring out what it was. And I think someone was even trying to tell me this on stream, and I thought they were trying to give me money. And I'm like, no, I'm not comfortable with, like, I'm not comfortable with you giving me money specifically so I can buy this thing from Erin Condren, because it's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's a luxury. Like, it's different from you saying, like, you know, I want to donate to support you, or I want to tip you, or something like that. But I'm like, I don't want you to give me money because you feel bad that I can't buy Erin Condren stuff. If that makes sense. Like, it was already a pretty big shopping trip. I got sponsored by Erin Condren, and I was putting some of my own stuff in. And so anyway, that was that situation. But so what I'm trying to say is, I assumed that the coupons didn't stack, and that nothing would stack with the 20 after I put the 15 in and it didn't work. But sometimes they'll stack and sometimes they won't. So if you have multiple coupons, you can try and see if they stack and what you can do. And then, as I said, the $10 off your first purchase stacks with other stuff. Also, the way Erin Condren determines your first purchase is by your email address. That's all I'll say. So, Ackman had an order that was $265, and with the discount codes, it only cost $166. Yeah, I agree. That's still a lot of money, but you ended up saving $100. That's amazing. Once I ended up saving, it was like $7 by adding a $4 item to my cart or something like that. Basically, I was right below the free shipping threshold by like just a couple bucks. And so by adding that, you know, a couple bucks worth of things, I think I had to add something that was like $4 or $5. But once you factored in the fact that I then got free shipping, it ended up being cheaper to add the extra thing to my cart. So, yeah, you can do that. And if you're a teacher and you can verify through their ID.me system, you can also get 10% off. They do better sales though. So I would, if you're trying to get Erin Condren deals, I would maybe hold off for something a little better than 10% unless you actually need it now. But it sounds like since you're trying to find alternatives, you can, it's probably not urgent, is my guess. Yep, you spend $4 and get the $5.95 free shipping, or $7.95 free shipping. That's what it was. I think I might have actually ended up paying a little bit more. I forget. I feel like it was more than that I was somehow getting, but they also might have had a slightly higher shipping fees back in the day. So this was like easily 4 years ago that this went down. I forget exactly what it was, but it was cool. I was excited. All right, I think I'm gonna head out. Usually I do streams for about 2 hours, and we're almost at 2.5 hours, starting to run out of steam, but my endurance for streaming longer is getting better. So maybe at some point I will start doing longer streams. I've also thought about experimenting with clipping streams to make some of the replays a little bit more watchable for people that are just interested in the main content of the video. For instance, the part where we talked about the Erin Condren summer surprise box unboxing. You know, we've been chatting for a while and I've been having fun, but I don't know if everybody who's watching the replay is necessarily interested in this. I do try to put the main content towards the beginning so that when we do start to get a little bit more off the rails, it is later. I've also been thinking about hiring someone, because I hate editing, to do an edit of some of these streams, maybe some of the bigger ones where I'm specifically reviewing something, where it just takes out a lot of the tangents and stuff like that. And again, because I do tend to be long-winded, makes it significantly more watchable. Have not figured all of that out, but since we had a very big chunk of this one where we were not talking about planner stuff, this might be an interesting one for me to experiment with. Before I do all the signing off stuff, 𝗚𝗏𝘚 makes an excellent point. Just don't forget to use the discount codes before they expire, especially those 20% off ones. Very, very important, because you don't want the 20% to go away. Funny enough, I actually have very often left my 20% expired, but it's usually because I'm not making another purchase in the time frame where it's still good, if that makes sense. So anyway, thank you all for being here, whether you're here live as part of the replay or watched part of it live and part of it the replay. I appreciate all of you being here so much. Remember to join me on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific. That's going to be a more casual stream. We're probably going to either do making stickers again or plan with me. Probably making stickers, knowing me, but we'll see if I'm in the mood for something else. Also, please make sure to like and consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of content. And I will see all of you next time.